Good morning, this is Sarah Noel from Whole and Balanced Life, and today I'm going to talk about how to start celery juicing. Celery juicing is big right now. In fact, when my son asked to start doing it, we were looking around and like celery was sold out everywhere, and it was going for like $4 or $5 a bunch. I'm like, what happened to celery? So now I kind of understand what's going on, but the first step in celery juicing is getting some good celery. So I advise you to look around because we went to some of our local grocery stores, went to Safeway, and they were kind of thin bunches, went to even Costco and Sam's Club. They were a little better deal at Sam's Club. Jake even got some at the dollar store, which I don't know about buying produce at the dollar store. But I found these at Sprouts, and I feel good about Sprouts. It's a good store, good quality, trust the integrity of it, and it was an excellent deal. So it was 4 bunches for $5, which is excellent. And they were big, thick bunches, and you want to get nice, dark leafy, dark green celery, and not emaciated, albino celery. So starting with good celery is the first tip. Table would be excellent. If you can grow this in your garden, that's the best. Or farmer's market, or organic. You can buy conventional, just make sure you wash it really well. And even if you buy organic, wash it well, because some farms used to be conventional farms and then they were bought by organic farmers, and so there's sometimes a residue. So it never hurts to give them a good washing. When you're washing, do not wash with tap water. Tap water is municipal water, and it's usually slightly acidic, and so in order to make it neutral, they alkalinize it by adding chlorine and things like that, bleaches and things. So it's not enough to really hurt you per se that they can improve. So it's okay if you have to use that. So you wash your lettuce, your vegetables, and if you test that water, it'll be acidic because all the chlorine gets absorbed into your food. You don't want to wash them all in a clump. You want to make sure you break off, and this is where you want to be juicing it the same day you do this. But see all that dirt down there at the bottom? If it's all in a clumped hole, it's hard to get to that dirt. So you definitely want to get in there with the Norwex scrubber, or even with just your hands, and just scrub that down really well and rinse it. And you will be cutting off a little bit of the end, but that's one tip too. So I like to wash it using my carbon filtered water, and I catch it in a bowl so I can then reuse that water to water the garden. Our live fir tree, Fred, he loves it, so he gets a lot of our recycled water. Make sure you scrub the celery stalks from the top to the bottom. You want to wash off the leaves, and especially wash down by the base where a lot of dirt and residue can hide. Scrub it thoroughly. I mentioned the Norwex scrubbing cloth. It's super handy. I love Norwex because it helps you avoid chemicals. You just scrub with the scrubbing cloth in hot water or even cold water, and it cleans off all the dirt. It even has silver weaved in with the fine microfibers, and so it's antimicrobial and chemical free. So it's safe on food and on surfaces, and so I love using it all throughout my home. There's different rags for different cleaning purposes. My sister actually introduced this to me. You can order some online at kirstensavage.norwex.biz, and I'll put a picture of the link up here. And you can look through all their products. They're just wonderful. Their glass cleaning cloth is wonderful. The first demo she did for me, they put butter on the window and cleaned it off with Windex and some other rags that were supposed to be microfiber, and it just kind of smeared it around. And with hers, she folded it in quarters, put some water on it, and with one swipe, it was squeaky clean. So that kind of got my attention. And I love trying to find all natural cleansers for the home. So the fact that you don't have to buy any cleansers at all was really good for me. So I love using these things. And when I'm not at home and I don't have my Norwex scrubbing cloth, it makes it harder. This really makes the job quick, clean, and easy. Let it drain a little, and then we'll slice off some of these ends. Give those to the chickens. Waste not, want not. Now we're ready to juice. So I just went online to check out what juice bars are in my neighborhood, and I advise you to do the same. I did call Jamba Juice, and they do not have celery juice. They should. There's a shout out to Jamba Juice. Get on board. They have carrot juice, they have orange juice, and they have shots of ginger juice and wheatgrass juice. but they do not have celery yet, and I wish they would. So quick and easy to go and buy some juice and have someone else juice it for you and clean up the mess, and you just pick it up. And with the price of celery, sometimes the celery juicing isn't that much more, considering. If you get good deals on celery, and it is nice to have it fresh. So it's up to you. You make that choice. I did call a couple other areas. I found a place right downtown called Going Green that does celery juice, and the regular size is 14 ounce and the larger size is 20 ounce. So they don't have a 16 ounce per se. And it was $4.99 and $5.99. Also, I called Urban Remedy, which they have one in our Whole Foods Market. And they do have juices, but it's not fresh squeezed. It's delivered a couple days a week, and it's in bottles. They added lemon to it to keep a longer shelf life. But Anthony Williams says that the lemon breaks down those clusters that are so good for your body. So, it's better than nothing, but the fresh juice in the morning on an empty stomach is probably going to be the best benefits and results. So I advise you to Google it, look around what's in your area. Vitality Bowls sold it fresh. Also Deja Vu, Juice Bar, and none of the boba ones did, of course. They have like really sugary smoothies and things like that. And I guess Jamba Juice is in that lines too. Most of their smoothies are pretty sweet and sugary. Siren's Deli Nectar Juice Bar was a good one. That was $6.75. And they obviously kind of know what's going on because they sell it in the 16 ounce. And same with the Deja Vu Juice Bar. A lot of these places that do detoxes and juice for daily juicing and detoxing, so they kind of know what's up with that. Just look around and have fun with it, so you have something on an emergency when you're out and you can't get to the grocery store, or if something happened you had to leave quickly and couldn't get that. You'll have options that you'll know about, and you'll find the best deal you feel is the freshest. So good luck with that. Costco also has these 6 bottles for $15. They do have lemon in it though, and Anthony Williams said that lemon kind of breaks apart those little clusters that we need. The next tip is finding a good juicer. So we've cut the ends off, not very much, waste not, want not. And this is the Champion juicer. So the pulp comes out into the sink, which can clog your drain, so be careful. So put a bowl or cup in there, and you put the celery in the top and push it down with the damper, and then the juice comes out the bottom. This juices pretty well, but sometimes the pulp is wet, so I rejuice it. There's been times where I didn't quite get 16 ounces out of my stock of celery, but after rejuicing the pulp a time or two, I get my full 16 ounces. And here you can see it's starting to get clogged. And with the Champion juicer, that means the blade is just full of pulp and fiber and it needs to be cleaned off, but usually it's right about done at that time. You can see it's to its capacity there, but it's a full cup. Next is the Jack LaLanne. This is the kind we have at home, and the first thing you'll notice is the opening is much bigger. You can almost fit a full apple down there. So there's a blade that spins around and grates the fruit or the vegetable, and then a screen filters it and it goes into the cup. The pulp is thrown into the back, and it usually is a little bit drier than the Champion, but ours has been making a funny noise and been throwing back a lot of fiber. So I've had to rejuice on this one also. And we're going to be shopping for a new juicer this week. So here's Jake here in the morning making my morning juice. He's a great partner. That's another tip. If you can find a friend or someone to do this with, it makes it so much easier to have that support. You can take turns juicing for each other, or I'll do the morning, you do the evening tonics. It just helps to have somebody with you, so it's been fun doing it with him. He prefers the Jack LaLanne juicer. I kind of like the Champion. Here we are here cutting these end pieces a little smaller so we can get more out of our juicing, and that tends to help. And if you don't have a juicer, you can use the blender. So here's some tea bags that you can use for loose leaf teas or thyroid teas or the large herbs and dried fruits, and you can steep it. These are muslin bags. They're good for straining. They're only $4.58, but they do shrink in the wash, so be mindful of that. Cheesecloth is what I use to make my nut milk when I use all my milk at home. And then you gather it up and you squeeze it out. These are the wool bags. They have very fine holes, so it's harder to strain juice through it. So I think these nut milk bags will be the easiest. I haven't used these before, so this will be my first time. They're only $3.25. You can wash them out and reuse them. I have a metal one of these. These are great for loose leaf teas. You just put it in there and pour the hot water through it, or let it steep on the side of the glass. This is the NutriBullet, and it blends right into a cup, so it's great for grabbing and then heading out the door. This is the Ninja blender. It has lots of blades there, and it cuts really well. I use this at my sister's house. Here we're doing cucumber water, but it's the same idea. At home, I have this BlendTech blender. like on the videos Will It Blend, and it did not blend the celery very well at all at first. It does not have something to tamp it down with, so I ended up using a spoon, and that helped. It finally caught hold of the celery and started turning it into a celery juice mixture, because you're not supposed to add water or dilute the celery juice. So I almost gave up on this, but it finally did, as you can see, turn into a juice. And so after I got the juice going, it did heat it up, which I didn't like, but I put it in the fridge because heating can lose some of its nutritional value. But after it was done, I poured it into the nut milk bag inside of a mug, and then you lift the nut milk bag up and the juice comes out the bottom. And then you can kind of twist it, and you pull down and twist at the same time, kind of a motion, until you dry out the pulp. It becomes like a wasabi texture. So the next step is drinking it immediately. The best case scenario would be right from farm to table, to juice or to mouth. The fresher the juice, the more vitamins and live benefits it's going to have for you. I like pouring mine into a beautiful glass with a sustainable straw. It's easier to drink that way, and I love the whole experience of sight and smell and just relaxing outside with it. But you could put it in a thermos or any way that you want to drink it. A mason jar, because that way it's measured and you can drink right out of it. So if you're not on the run, that's a good alternative. Having said that about juicing and drinking right away, I want to add that it is better to juice than to not juice. So even if you can't get it right from the garden and juice it and drink it immediately, keep juicing. Even if you cut it and have it stored for the week, because that's what works in your schedule, that is going to be fresh and delicious and wonderful and better than not doing it. Even if you have to juice a whole bunch and have it for that day or even the next day, juicing's good. Pick up a celery juice on the go, bring it in your thermos for work, and if you need to put it in a pitcher, like I said, and have it in there for quick grabbing, go for it. You're still going to get those minerals, and you're going to still have some healing properties. You don't ever want to rinse this stuff in the sink, because if it gets down in your garbage disposal, well, we kill the garbage disposal, let's just put it that way. The strings are just too much, they wrap around. It's no good. So get out as much as you can of the pulp into your chicken box or your... If you do it right away, it rinses right off. If you wait a while and it dries on, it's a little more difficult. So the key is just to promptly do it, and the faster you do it, the faster you drink your juice, the better. So the key is quickness. This Norwex cloth is also handy for getting the little fibers out of the screen here. So I love this scratchy Norwex cloth. Then you just put the pieces in a drying rack or shake them out real good, and they're ready for tomorrow. Here's Fred. We'll give him a little drink. Blueberries here. Delicious. And then I'll put the rest on the flowers. Put this little nub, and I like to give that to my chickens. With all the juicing I've been doing, it seems my chickens are on a 90-day celery protocol. They really loved it. They ate it right up. So after feeding the chickens and making the most of your pulp, also rejuicing, we discussed this earlier, but if you have big, long, fibrous strands like how our Jack LaLanne is kicking them out, or if they're wet, rejuice them. You're going to get so much more out of your celery. And the last tip I can give you is to receive it with gratitude. This is the first thing you do with your day, so make it count. Take some time to meditate, take some deep breaths, and set your intention to receive these nutrients with gratitude. Release what no longer serves you, and receive everything that's going to be for your highest and greatest good. And start your day with positivity and wholeness and health and balance. Your body will say thank you. Namaste.